podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the premier radio networks, 200 radio stations coast to coast, on Saturday, June 20th, 2020. Last day of spring, the first day of summer. This is episode 1705. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast comes to you from Twit's LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure they are by making access and authentication seamless. Whether they're working in the office or remotely, visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Roman. Skip the waiting room and awkward face-to-face. Get ED medication conveniently delivered to your door in discreet, unmarked packaging. Go to getroman.com/techguy for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. And by ExpressVPN. Now that a lot of you are working from home, it's even more important to choose a VPN you trust. For 3 extra months free with a 1-year package, go to expressvpn.com/techguy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk to computers. I also talk to computers. I'm the computer whisperer. But we'll also talk about. Sometimes I pat them and say, it's okay. It's okay. You can boot. You know you can. It's okay. I also talk about computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. We're getting ready for the big Apple event on Monday. This would be, as I give this warning every year, this would be a bad time to buy Macintosh or iOS devices, because you never know what Apple's going to say. It seems unlikely they'd announce a new phone, so you're probably okay there, or iPad, but it's possible. Rumor is mostly that they will announce a new iMac, which will be interesting. They haven't updated that one in a while. It's getting a little long in the tooth. If computers had teeth, anyway, it would be long in the tooth. When was the last update? I think the iMac Pro, and that's been a couple, 3 years. It's time to get rid of the Fusion drives. Maybe time to have a bigger, better screen. You know, everybody's getting rid of the bezels, those frames around the screens now on these computers, desktop as well as laptops. So that would be kind of cool, and that's the rumor. They have a very nice monitor, Apple does. They didn't have a monitor the last time they released an iMac. They had gotten out of the monitor business. But now they have a very nice monitor, the XDR Pro display. And everybody's hoping, maybe you could have something XDR-like in your iMac. Only problem is the cost would be prohibitive, because that XDR display by itself, without a computer, is $5,000. Also without a stand. Stand's an extra $1,000. Oh, don't you love Apple? Hey, you don't get to be $1.5 trillion company without making a little money on the side there, without having a little bit of income. We also expect I take it back. We know they will announce a new version of Mac OS and a new version of iOS. iOS 14. Chief features of iOS 14, a feature called Car Key that lets you enter and start your car with your phone. Okay, I guess. I mean, your phone replaces your credit cards. Might as well replace everything. Pretty soon, my phone will replace my wife. Apple's new wife phone. That's a bad idea. That's not a good idea. Sorry, honey. You're irreplaceable. We all know that. But it seems like Apple's replacing things it doesn't need to replace, really. I get you carry a fob for your car, or even in some cases with an older car, an actual key. Yeah, I mean, the key is probably the best solution. It's not so hard to kind of get into a car with a Bluetooth fob. You can hijack that And I don't know. We'll see if the phone is more secure. I guess nice not to have to carry anything. Everything should just open with my phone, right? You can use your phone to buy vending machine items now, Pepsis and Cokes and candy bars in some places. Just wave your phone and stuff comes out. You can buy goods at grocery stores and other stores with your phone or even your watch. If your watch, you have an Apple Watch and you've got the touch to pay. So I guess, maybe it makes sense. Maybe that makes sense. Replacing the car key. That's one of the features. There may be others. We know there'll be others. There'll also be a new Mac OS tomorrow, day after tomorrow, Monday. And the big thing, the most interesting thing from a geek's point of view, probably not from, normal people. And I know you're normal, but if, I'll just tell you what we geeks are very excited about. The idea that Apple will abandon the chips that it uses right now from Intel and start making its own. That's kind of interesting. This is Apple's way all along, isn't it? It's just, we'd like to make everything. The operating system, the hardware. We don't want to put any third-party products in our stuff. And Intel's been a little of a challenge for Apple because Apple's, Intel's not been keeping up. Apple's been, come on, Intel. Look, we need a better chip for the laptops. Look, we need a better chip for the, come on, hurry up. And Intel's, okay, I'll be right there. Not so wakey. So this is a wake-up call to Intel. Yeah, well, in that case, I guess, we'll just do our own thing. Apple certainly has the wherewithal to do that. They've been doing their own chips, and mighty good chips, I might say, for the iPhone and iPad for some time, since the very beginning. You might hear the word ARM associated with these. It's funny because Apple was one of the companies started ARM many years ago as a chip designer, and they still design chips. Most of the chips in other phones, Android phones, are based on ARM. ARM doesn't make chips. ARM designs them and then licenses those designs to other companies like Qualcomm, which then, makes the chips. Probably Qualcomm doesn't even make them. They probably say it's expensive to make chips. It's $1 billion to build a chip factory. More. So, we'll let, where they make the chips? In China. Some chips are made in Taiwan, some in South Korea. A lot of them made in China. We'll make them over there. They're happy to do it. So Apple will, quote, make the chips. They won't really. They'll design the chips. They have 1,000 chip engineers, at least. Last I counted. There were 1,000 engineers working on chip designs at Apple. They bought a big chip manufacturer, PA Semiconductor, and they own all their intellectual property, and they license the ARM architecture, but they won't be ARM chips. They'll be Apple chips. They'll be Apple's own special super duper chips. And Apple's done very well with their designs, so that'll be interesting to see. How fast? Well, it could take years. In all likelihood, they announce it to Monday because it's the developers conference. They're talking to people who are writing the software. They have to let them know. Heads up. That Intel thing, forget that. We're going to do ARM. You already know how to do it. Just a heads up. And then they'll probably start shipping a laptop, maybe a low-end machine in 2021. Some people are worried that Apple can't make ARM-style chips, its own chips, as fast as the Intel chips for the high-end stuff. I think they can. We are already, the iPad Pro has a faster chip in it than their laptops. Many of their laptops. So I don't think that's an issue. One of the things they could do with ARM-style chips, they're not ARM chips, they're ARM-style. They're Apple, let's call them Apple chips with the A series. We're at A12 right now, and A13 coming. And so let's say Apple does an A20, let's say, for the next generation of Macintoshes. They could put 20 of them in there, or 50 or 100 chips in there. Because these chips are so low power, you could actually put more in. You could make a beast. So this will be fun to see on Monday. That's why, you see, this is why the geeks are interested in this. If you want to talk about that or anything else on your mind, 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number. 888-827-5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you could still reach us, but you'd have to use, Skype or something like that. Some voice over the internet product that's able to dial landlines in the U.S. Skype out would do it, and that should be free. 8888 Ask Leo. There's a website. I put all the links and everything to talking about there at the website. Actually, James does, our scribe, James DeRuvo. That's techguylabs.com. There's a chat room. If you like to yell at me through a chat screen, I can see it. Just yell at me. It's irc.twit.tv. Lots of nice people in there. Lots of geeks. Team Tech Guy, I call him. What else? I think that's everything. That's all the business I need to take care of. 8888 Ask Leo. We're going to go to the phones in just a second. Unbreakable. That's what we call her. The unbreakable Kimmy Schaffer, our very own phone angel. And you know what? Kimmy don't take no Schaffer. Hello, Kimmy.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good.
So am I.
Yeah. Conversations are becoming very difficult.
There's nothing to report.
I know. My friend calls me from Missouri. Hi.
Hi.
Just wanted to say hi, but since
The
we're not
inside of
doing
your house
anything-
still look the same? Yeah.
Yeah. How's your garden going?
How's it going? Yeah. Did you cook anything different last night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nope. Same old.
Send me a picture of your dinner.
It's getting to be a blur.
Yes, it
Just
is.
a blur. We're going to look back on these days and say, where did they go? What happened? Well, at least we can come in here and serve the people with tech advice and help, right?
Yeah, we
That's
can.
good. That's an important thing. We're semi-essential. Sort of essential. Like, kind of quasi.
The first couple of weeks, I'm like, am I going to get pulled over?
Yeah, no.
I'm in the wrong county.
Remember that when we were worried about that? Now, anything goes, whatever you want.
Oh, my God. The
There were-
traffic's back to normal.
There were people playing. There was a volleyball tournament going on across the street. There were 40 or 50 people just hanging out playing volleyball.
Well, I went rollerblading through Golden Gate Park last night.
Oh,
and,
how fun.
And there was, let's just say a couple of statues came down.
Oh, really?
So there were like 400 people showed
wow.
up and took down some statues.
Oh, wow.
They were not social distancing.
No, they were working hard.
No. Yeah, that was interesting.
What are are there Confederate statues in Golden
one
Gate
of them
Park?
was by the museums, by the DeYoung Museum.
Yeah.
Francis Scott Key was one of them.
He wrote the Star-Spangled Banner.
But apparently there's some bad
Was he a
connotation
bad
there.
guy?
Yeah, and then Junipero Serra.
Father Sarah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, everything's
And we were
different.
skating right by the Star-Spangled Banner guy, Francis Scott Key's statue, about 20 minutes before, and then all these people showed up. I'm like, I'm getting out of here.
Wow.
Not going to become part of this.
Yeah.
I would be the
Wow.
one getting arrested on rollerblades.
Yeah. People are angry. I don't blame them for being angry.
Yeah. But anyway, you want to start with a really easy one
Please.
today?
Yes.
Robin in Pasadena seems to recall you mentioning some earbuds that are half the price of Apple's that are
Yes,
really good,
many.
and wants to know what those are.
Many,
And
many,
I'd
many.
like to as well.
Okay. Thank you, Kim. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hello, Robin in Pasadena. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Good morning, Leo. How are you today?
Wonderful. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking.
What is,
I heard
what's the
your-
deal?
I heard your show one day. I was in the car driving, and you were talking about earbuds, and you were someone had called in regards to one they heard was far less expensive than the AirPods from Apple.
So this is the
And
question. Of course, the cheapest stuff is wired, but nobody puts headphone jacks on their gosh darn phones anymore. So now we have to go wireless. Do you want a Bluetooth pair or do you want a wired pair?
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. Kind of like the AirPods, but not the AirPods, which are very expensive.
Yeah. Quite a bit.
So there's actually quite a few choices. Scott Wilkinson was talking about a wired pair some weeks ago. Maybe that's what you heard. I have recommended in the past and use Samsung's Galaxy Buds, and they've just updated those. I don't know if it's the Galaxy Buds 2. I feel like they might be called the Galaxy Buds Plus, which is silly. Plus what? Plus I don't know. But they're made by AKG. They sound very good. They have, I think, easy to use pairing. They work fine with an iPhone. I mean, you don't have to buy an Apple device. They have wireless charging. I don't think you really need that. I have the older ones, which I really like. Didn't have they go in a, just like the AirPods. They go in a little box that has a battery in it, and you charge up the box with the battery. But these pluses, the only thing that you might want that the less expensive, and then I'll tell you, there's one other that people recommend that's even cheaper. The Anker. Anker has a Soundcore, A-N-K-E-R, by the way, misspelled. They have Anker, A-N-K-E-R, and they have a Soundcore line of inexpensive, but I think pretty high quality audio devices, including earbuds. So I would also, if you really want to save money, I can't remember what the Ankers are. I think the Samsungs are around 100. I think the Ankers are like half that. They're really. Yeah,
I think that's the one that you had mentioned.
Maybe.
Actually, Ankers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're let's see. It looks like they have the Zolo, Z-O-L-O, the Liberty Plus. I haven't used those, but I know a lot of people have used them. The one thing you might miss that you would get in, say, the AirPods Pro or some of the higher and much more expensive devices is noise canceling, which I think is only really useful in airplanes. But Anker does sell the Liberty Neos, which do have noise canceling. And let me just see what that's their highest end. The Liberty Neos are a whopping $28.
Seriously, $30?
Seriously. So if I mixed feelings about all this. I was really kind of disappointed that Apple and now everybody, Google and Samsung, are taking the headphone jacks out because the most reliable, best quality sound is wired. But okay, fine, they're gone. So now we have to go wireless, and Bluetooth's the only way to go. Bluetooth has other problems. Don't get whatever you do. The new Google Pixel Buds are terrible. People are having all sorts of problem with them, losing connection and so forth. Bluetooth does tend to lose connection, but a well-done Bluetooth Bud is going to be fine. I have to buy these Soundcore Liberty Neos because for $30, then you don't mind so much if you lose them, and that's the biggest problem of all. They're not tethered. They're not tethered to your head or your phone, so it's really easy to leave them. So yeah, that's probably what you heard us talking about. I have not tried them. To be fair, I use the Galaxies, but I think they're probably pretty good. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, and I don't think they fixed some of the issues. Scooter X is saying Google put a firmware update out on those Galaxy Buds, but the Pixel Buds, but I don't know if they fixed all the issues. That's just ridiculous. They ship something that bad. $28. I should probably buy a pair of these Liberties. Graphene drivers, that's a big word. They have, one of the things I like is they have the little rubber hooks in them. Let's see. You get the blue case or the red case for $7 more. I would get the black case, the 20. I'll order some right now, and I'll tell you. I'll let you know next week whether they're any good. Have you used the Ankers? I think, was it you?
I have not. No, and I'm very interested to hear what you're saying here. I just looked them up. Are you looking at the Soundcore Liberty Neo?
Yeah, the Neos have Bluetooth, have noise cancellation.
Okay.
And they're also IPX7 waterproof, which means which is good. Yeah, I wouldn't swim in them, but it's Bluetooth 5.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's better. That's good.
Yeah, that's the good blue. That's the good one. They don't mention what protocol they're using, whether it's aptX or any of the newer high def ones. But geez, for $30, who cares?
Right. I'll probably just buy them and give them a try too. Personally, I don't like those little loops.
Well, you don't have to have them. They have them,
but you don't have to have them.
It's an additional little piece.
It's so funny that you took that call, because this is exactly what I was going to talk about today.
Excellent timing. Fabuloso. So let me ask you, what is hip? It's this cat right here, man. He is so hip, man. He is Scott Wilkinson, our home theater geek on the Tech Guy Show. He joins us every week to talk about home theater. And Scott, you heard the last call. We were talking about inexpensive earbuds. I've tried all of them, including the AirPod Pro and the AirPods, both of which I think are way overpriced for the sound quality, the comfort. The only advantage they have if you're using an iPhone is they pair very easily. The software works well with the iPhone.
Am I correct that the AirPods don't have ear tips? They're just a little speaker that kind of sits in your outer ear?
So the less expensive AirPods do not. The AirPod Pros do. They have little snap-on silicone tips that's
really important for good sound quality.
I agree. I think, and Apple charges a lot for just the base model AirPods. A lot. Way too. It's like a couple $100. It's like, come on, guys. And I honestly, you correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like there's a huge amount of profit in headphone gear, and companies gouge the heck out of you. And that really, the parts that go in most headphones are not expensive.
That's probably true. I don't really have any data to back that up. TV margins, profit margins, are razor thin, but they're probably not in headphones. I would probably agree with you.
I think they're
pending further research.
And the other problem is there's no correlation between how much you pay for headphones and how good they are, unless you get to the $1,000 price level. At that point, maybe. But when you're talking like Beats, which are $350 headphones that I don't think sound that good.
No, I agree.
I feel like Apple is making $300 on those $350 headphones. I swear to God.
Probably so.
Yeah,
probably so. Yeah. Exactly right.
So I mentioned these Anchors. I mean, this is what Anchor does so well, is they make good quality gear at much closer to cost. They're not gouging.
Right.
And $30 for what is essentially looks a lot like, just the Galaxy Buds or any of these earbuds that are in a little bit flatter case.
Right. True wireless, right? I mean, they're Bluetooth. They're just two little gizmos that stick in your ear.
Yeah.
$30 is a really good price, and I'm going to try them out myself. I've never tried Anchor before, so I'm going to try them out. I'm a big fan of a company called One More.
One More.
The numeral 1 and then MORE.
Yeah.
And I've tried a number of their products. They have a true wireless earbud called the Stylish, which is my go-to. I use that, at the gym when I was going to the gym, for walks out in the neighborhood, stuff like that. They work beautifully. I think they sell for something like $100, so it's not cheap. Although I will tell you this, that on the One More site for the rest of this weekend, there's a Dads and Grads 25% off special. So on all their products, including the one I just reviewed on Tech Hive. And I wanted to mention that real quick too. It's got a mouthful of a name, the Dual Driver ANC Pro. So the name says it all. Each earbud has 2 drivers in it, one for the mids and lows and one for the highs. And it also has ANC, active noise cancellation. Now, one of the coolest things about this particular model is it's not two tiny little earbuds. You were mentioning in that last call that it's so easy to lose those things. And it is. It's really easy.
Yeah.
So what this one is, it's got a sort of a semicircular neck band that's silicone covered, metal on the inside. It rests on near your neck and on your shoulders, and then 2 little wires come out and the earbuds go in your ears that way. And when you're not using them, you can pull them out, and the backs are magnetic and they clap together, and you can wear it kind of like a necklace, but they don't get lost. That's the important thing. And the controls are on the neckband, so they're more widely separated. They're not so multifunctional. It's really very good. I guess
what's nice is there's huge range of choices. I also use some Bluetooth headphones that have just a wire between them. So that's kind of like that. I'm not sure I want a neck piece, but this is the point. Is any different strokes for different folks?
Different strokes for different folks. Yeah. Exactly right. The other point I really want to make here is everybody uses the term earbuds, and I'm guilty of this as well. And what that actually is defined as is little things that stick in your ears that do not have ear tips, right? That don't actually fit into your ear canal. They just sort of sit in your outer ear, and they're a tiny little speaker. That they never sound anywhere as good as what we would call in-ear headphones or in-ear monitors, which have the little ear tips. And you have to pick the right ear tip. And what you need is a really good seal in your ear canal. And when you get that good seal, you have really good sound, really good bass. Amazing. From a tiny little thing, you get really good bass. That's mind-blowing to me. But if you don't have a good seal in your ear canal, the sound is very thin and fizzy, and the bass is almost non-existent. And the same goes for earbuds, what are really earbuds that don't have an ear tip that doesn't fit in your ear canal. So this is a really critical point that I want to make sure everybody understands, that when you get a pair of in-ear monitors or in-ear headphones, make sure that you always come with a variety of sizes of ear tips, these little silicone ear tips that you can change out. They come with one install, but they might have 3 other pairs of different sizes. Find the size that seals your ear, and everybody's ears are different. So, it might be a smaller one for you or a larger one. For me, it's pretty large. And when I get the right ear tip and it seals my ear canal, not only does it sound better, but it also prevents external sounds from coming in. These anchors, these $30 anchors you were mentioning, are sound isolating. They don't actually have active sound cancellation.
Right, which I kind of prefer. Active cancellation is weird sometimes.
Sometimes it is, and it can change the sound quality.
Right.
On this one more that I just reviewed, the sound quality changes dramatically when you turn A and C on or off.
It kind of to me, noise cancellation, like on the Bose, feels like the air is being sucked out of my head.
Many people feel that. I've never really experienced that, but a lot of people make that statement.
It's a weird feeling, like you're in cotton suddenly.
Yep. Generally speaking, I wouldn't recommend it, except if you're on an airplane.
It's great for that.
Although, it's great for that.
Good noise isolating headphones are just as good. In fact, my preferred way to do air travel, I use Etymotics, and they have a flange system that goes fairly deep in your ear canal.
Yeah,
gives you better
seals
bass.
It up really nice.
And it seals it. It's at least, I think it's 10 or 20 dB down. So it's great. In fact, it's so good you don't hear even the announcements that the plane's going down, the engines are on fire, abort, evacuate. You don't hear any of that stuff. So
Which is why some noise-canceling headphones actually have what's called a transparency mode.
Yeah.
Anyway, the isolation is another important part of actually having an ear tip and having it seal your ear canal.
I think that's so important.
Yeah, I really
for comfort too.
And comfort, sure. That's why you need to find yet another reason you need to find the right ear tip.
To me, it's so bizarre that Apple sells its AirPods, the base model, for so much money, but
$200-$300.
Yeah, and one size fits all, and they're hard plastic. They're not comfortable. Come on, Apple, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, really, I couldn't agree more.
But that's Apple, for you in a nutshell. You'll find Scott's work at techhive.com and all over the place, actually. Other places too, but most importantly, you'll find him here every weekend. Thank you, Scott.
My pleasure.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. When I work out or I'm bicycling, if I'm going to wear headphones, obviously you don't want to wear those isolating headphones. That's dangerous.
That's correct.
Because you won't hear cars coming up behind you. You won't hear sirens. You won't hear anything.
Right.
Gunshots. But what I do wear, and I really love, is the aftershocks. Those are the bone-conducting headphones. They don't actually go in your ear.
I've never tried those.
Yeah, they were a sponsor for a while, and I really liked them because the audio quality of the microphone's not great. It's okay for phone calls, and the audio quality on them is not as good as an in-ear would be.
Right.
But it's good. It's good enough, and it's fine for voice. So it's great for calls and or audiobooks. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I do. And I have to say, being able to hear what's going around, ambient sound, it's great.
While you're on a bike ride, I think that's really
it's
important.
Really smart, and they're waterproof. Yeah. They're very comfortable. They have a band.
Where do they actually touch you to get the bone conduction?
Temples.
Is it
right in front of your ear?
Ah. Okay, all right.
So they have a thin titanium band that goes around, and they have an over-the-ear hook. They don't go in your ear. And the temple pieces go right here.
Right in front of your ear.
Yeah, and they're Bluetooth.
Huh.
So it's kind of a specialty thing. I like it.
I've always wondered whether bone conduction was any good at all.
Well, you remember in our day, the bone phone, you'd see it advertised in Rolling Stone. It was a headphone that you hang around your neck.
Yeah,
it sounded terrible. So I think we've come a little ways. The quality's quite good. And if you, they actually give you earplugs in the box, and if you put those in, the bass improves dramatically for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Well, because you're getting resonance.
Yeah,
you're developing a closed resonant cavity in your ear canal.
Yeah, so they're pretty good. Yeah,
wow.
They're for special purposes: swimming, exercising, bicycling.
You wouldn't want to put those earplugs in while you're bicycling because it would defeat the purpose of being able to hear your environment.
Mostly, I wear them on conference calls because it's so comfortable. They don't stuff that you put in your ear after a while.
After a while,
tiring, right?
Yeah. Although I didn't mention that the phone quality of this new One More that I just reviewed is phenomenal.
Oh, interesting.
It's really great.
Huh.
I mean, it's a secondary function, but still, the stylish True Wireless that I've used for a while now, the phone quality is not very good. But I actually, during the review, I had my wife give me a call, and I tried between the two of them. And for me, her voice quality was far better on the new one, the dual driver ANC Pro, and she reported that my voice quality was much better as well.
Interesting. That's important.
Yeah. I thought so. So I got a comment here I wanted to mention real quick. I got a minute left. Phoenix Warp 1 says, you know what sucks? Those latex or whatever material they use on those tips. My ears, the skin has an allergic reaction. Oh. That's a bummer, man.
Yeah.
Because I much prefer those. It's not latex, it's silicone. Now, there is an alternative that might or might not work better for you, which is memory foam. Now, some earbuds or in-ear monitors come with silicone ear tips and memory foam ear tips, but some don't. Some only come with the silicone. You can buy memory foam ones from a company called Comply, Comply. And that's basically, I don't like them as much myself. They don't work to seal my ears nearly good enough. But they are memory foam, and you compress them and you shove them in your ear, and they expand out, and they're supposed to seal your eardrum, your ear canal. Give those a try. They're not cheap. Comply ones are pretty expensive, but
stick around for the top.
You betcha.
Thank you, Mr. W.
My pleasure.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo the phone number. After talking, Scott and I were talking headphones. More headphone talk during the break. They're all, different strokes for different folks. There are all kinds. And I mentioned that I wear the Aftershocks headphones, which are weird. They're bone conductance. They don't go in your ear, but they're great for exercising or bike riding. They used to be a sponsor. You put them over your ear, and they rest on your temple, and the vibrations from the speaker actually go through your temple instead of into your ear. And the sound quality is not quite as good, but it's pretty darn good. It's certainly good for what I use them for, which is audiobooks. And they also can be used as a phone, and they're so comfortable. I forget I've got them on. So that's another style. Somebody in the chat room, John G, says he's got the latest Aftershocks, the Aeropex, and he says the sound quality is very good. So I'll have to get a newer pair because I have the old Aftershocks Airs. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Dan is on the line from Upland, California. Our next call. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Leo. How are you, sir?
Very well. How are you?
Good. I give you my call sign, but I moved and I allowed my tech license to lapse. So
Uh-oh.
I'll remain silent on that.
Okay.
I wanted to actually say to you, help me, Obi-Wan, and I'm the poster child for don't let this happen to you, Leo.
Uh-oh.
I have a 4 terabyte Western Digital MyBook Studio.
Yeah.
And I was using it to back up. Well, I use it for my iTunes, just as a file because I keep all my movies and all of that, and I backed up all my movies, etc. But this 4 terabyte stopped working on the day that I bought a 5 terabyte to back it up.
It was jealous. It knew. It said, "Hey, what you doing?"
Day late and $1 short, sir. And so basically, I tried using a different power source, Leo, that's the identical wattage and amperage. That didn't work. So it didn't light up. It would not spin up. I looked at several blogs on YouTube. So knowing that, I do not want to send this to one of those pay me $2,000 and I'll give you your data back services. I went ahead and shucked it, took the casing out, and I have an external drive port, and it does work, Leo, meaning it does spin up.
That's good.
I get the message. The disk you inserted is not readable by this computer on my Mac, and I did check using Disk Utility, and it does show that it's a Sabrent dual SAT SATA bridge media 4 terabyte, so it does see it, but I know that the WDs are encrypted, so what I'm hoping is there a workaround, Leo, for this? And by the way, I also use Carbonite on both Macs and my PC, so those are protected. It's just not the 4 terabyte drive. And now I'm going to be using all of the naked drives to just create like 2 or 3 backups now. Of course, closing the door after the horse gets out, right?
One of the reasons I'm not fond of these giant drives is they're packing so much data on them that, you got to wonder, well, how reliable are they going to be? Now, the thing about this drive that you have, so there's a couple of things. When you plugged it in, it's a USB enclosure. When you plugged it in, it didn't see it. Okay, that could just be that the USB card in the enclosure is gone. And in fact, that's what it sounds like, because you can, once you take it out of the enclosure, you can see it.
Yes.
So that's a good sign. The bad thing is WD encrypts it.
Yes.
So I think your drive is fine. I think what happened is the enclosure failed. So the problem is you took out the drive, you plug it in, and yeah, I can see it, but it's encrypted, so I can't see the data. So then the trick would be to get another enclosure, identical enclosure, and see if you can put it in that. In other words, replace the enclosure or replace the USB card in the enclosure, because it sounds like that's what's gone, not the drive.
Yes, I agree, Leo.
So that's a good thing in one respect. I don't know if Western Digital sells those bare bones, without a drive in it. The other thing is, and you pointed out, it's a Sabrent drive in there, but it said dual SATA, which is interesting to me. One of the ways they get these drives so big is sometimes they do two terabyte drives in an enclosure. So is it your sense, once you took it out of the box, that it's a single hard drive? Or is there yet another enclosure?
No, there's just a standard one. Looks just like.
You're kind of. I'm not sure where you're talking. Oh, I know what's going on. Are you using your hearing aids for a speaker?
No, it's the regular. I'm sorry, Leo. Can you hear me better now?
I can. Yeah, you went far away, and now I couldn't hear you. Plus, I'm getting a little feedback. So
apologize.
That's okay. So I'm concerned it might be a RAID array of 2 drives, which would also add some complexity to it.
Yes.
So the other thing is Western Digital does offer, they're telling me in the chat room, something called the WD Unlocker, which apparently unlocks a Western Digital passport. It unencrypts it.
Okay. And Leo, could you answer this question? Is the passport that kind of the smaller 2.5-inch one that plugs into the USB? What I have is and maybe it's the same thing. I have a MyBook Studio.
Yeah, but when you took it out of the MyBook?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the next layer in the Russian doll? Was it what looks to you like a normal bare bones hard drive, or was it yet another enclosure?
Nope.
It's a regular hard drive.
A doll.
Okay.
It was just a hard drive.
So you got the little doll in the middle. That's good. You got the baby doll. So that's good. I was worried sometimes on these giant, external drives, they put multiple drives in there to give you extra capacity. Sounds like Western Digital put a regular 4 terabyte drive. Can you read the label and everything on the drive?
Yes,
okay.
I can, Leo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good news.
Okay.
You have a standard 3.5-inch drive. The bad news is, for reasons I don't fully understand, I guess because it's external and portable, they encrypt it. But I would maybe look at seeing if you can run the Unlocker software to open it up. Because I'm going to, it's got AES encryption on it. I'm going to guess that the drive is fine. All that died was the enclosure. That's good news. That means your data is almost certainly intact. Bad news. You got to figure out how to get around the encryption.
How to get to it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So either get another enclosure, or you, if this unlock software does it, that would be fine.
I'll give that a shot, Leo.
Yeah. So good news, and now now this is actually the best possible news, because now that you've been burned. You will back up assiduously, carefully from every moment from now on. I'm glad you have Carbonite, but that's the problem. One negative about Carbonite, I wouldn't back up those external drives. It always bugged me a little bit.
Yes.
So you had to buy something else for those. Yeah.
It's more expensive. And rather than use these small USB-powered, like a MyBook or Passport or whatever it's called, drives, what I'm going to be doing is going to naked 3.5-inch drives using one of the NAS types of 4 drives, because as I understand
then you're better off, because if a drive dies, they're redundant. You swap out a new drive and you're good.
Yeah, and the pros create apparently 2 to 3 or 4 copies of everything that they're doing. So
yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I use a NAS. I use a NAS in RAID 5. And so if a drive dies, I don't lose any data. And then I have a backup of the NAS as well. Yeah. It's not hard to back up. It's just annoying. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, so chat room has been very helpful. Unlocker will work on the Mac apparently, and will unlock that AES 256 disk. And now I return you to the stellar Scott Wilkinson, who will continue the show while I go seek forage. I go forage for fodder.
Got any Father's Day plans?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm socially distancing from my kids, right? So
yeah, right.
I told Henry that he could come over. I got a new smoker, and I said, "Come over. We'll smoke meat, and you can sit 12 feet away from me and wearing a mask." So maybe.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'll be working, of course. So.
Yeah, well,
as I do always on Father's Day.
Tomorrow is a work day for you. I know.
Yep. Thank you.
So thank you very much. I will take the con. Phoenix Warp 1 is responding to my comments about ear tips. Only certain brands have those tips that bother his ears. Not all of them. but you'll check out the suggestion. Somebody else I remember here in the chat room said something like the Comply tips are overpriced, and I agree, they are. And they don't come in a large enough size for me. I actually talked to them once at CES last year, I think. And I said, I need 14 to 15 millimeter ear tips. And they said, we don't make any that big. So even though they scrunch down and then expand, they don't expand big enough to seal my ears, which is why they've never worked for me. And they're like $20 a pair. So that's a lot. Let's see. Oh, Redwood asks if I'm into Trombone Shorty. Oh yeah, he's great. Haven't listened to him in a while. I should listen to some of his tracks during some of my reviews. I've seen him on TV a couple times. He's pretty cool. I like him a lot. Let's see here. Let's see. Anybody else have any questions? I'm going to scroll back up the chat room and see if there's anything. Let's see. Oh, Mike Heiss. Hey, Mike. How you doing? Good to see you. With all the talk about Worldwide Developers Conference, the Apple conference, anyone betting on a new TV OS or the rumors of a new Apple TV that has a remote you can hold? Good question. I don't know. I haven't been following that very much. Mike, you've probably been following it more than me. So I don't know. I've always heard rumors about Apple coming out with an actual television. And I don't know whether that'll ever happen or not. We do know that Samsung Display and LG Display, the branches of those companies that actually make the panels, have said they're going to stop making LCD panels this year, by the end of this year. Now, that doesn't mean that LG and Samsung are going to stop making LCD TVs. They won't. They will continue to make them. However, those panels, the raw panels, will be coming from Chinese companies, not from LG Display and Samsung Display. So the big companies in China are BOE, AUO, and a couple others. But it's interesting. I don't know, for example, if the LG LCD TVs, the top end of their LCD TVs, are what are use a technology called nanocell. And, I have no idea whether they're going to license that technology to one of these Chinese companies or whether we're just not going to have them anymore. I never reviewed a nanocell TV, but they were generally pretty well regarded. So, we'll see what happens at Apple. It's always interesting. Let's see here. Eric Duckman says, someone came in here the other day and asked, I bought an LG OLED TV back in February. Should I be running that pixel refresher? Not since February. That's what, only a few months. I think that image retention is much less of an issue on OLED TV than it was on early plasmas, and it got better on plasmas. And I'm sure it's gotten better on OLEDs from the first generation of OLEDs. So, I don't think it's a big deal. I might run it once a year. My Sony OLED, which is the first generation Sony OLED, actually comes up after so many hours of use and says, we're going to run the panel refresher next time you turn the TV off. And that only happens maybe once a year, maybe once every 8 or 9 months, something like that. Not very often. So, no, I don't think you need to run the pixel refresher every few months. I really don't. Subaru, current favorite cheap sound bar. I would have to say the Vizio. one of the Vizios. They make many, and I think they're quite good for the money. I would say those are my favorite cheap sound bars. There's the classic question, T1000. Is there a big difference in quality between 4K and 8K, 65 to 75 inch TV? This is a subject of great debate. 8K TVs generally have better processing. And in that regard, they might look better. But honestly, 4K looks great. And certainly you're not going to see, at a normal seating distance, you're not going to see the increase in detail going from 4K to 8K. Just not going to see it. You will see better processing, and that might be visible. So I wouldn't spend money on an 8K TV at this point. It's kind of first generation, getting into second generation. 65 inch, really, what's the point? It becomes more important really at larger screen sizes, 75, 85, 98. But if you're sitting at the recommended distance, recommended by SMPTE and THX, you're not even going to see all the detail in a 4K image, much less 8K. So you have to get much closer to the TV than SMPTE or THX recommend for an immersive cinematic experience. If you get a lot closer, you're moving your head back and forth to see the whole screen, and that gets tired really fast. So 4K is totally fine. The processing in 4K TVs is totally fine. It's really good. 8K's maybe a little better, but I don't know. Interestingly, we don't know if there's going to be a flat panel shootout in New York this year. If there is, they will likely do a comparison between 4K and 8K, which will be interesting, but probably won't be open to the public because of the coronavirus and the fact that the store is in the middle of Scarsdale.
Thank you, Scotty.
My pleasure.
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, everything with a chip in it, all that tech and more. 8888-ASK. Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. It's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you could still do it. Just, use Skype out or something like that. Website, free to all. No sign up. I don't want your email. I'm not going to spam you. It's just like the web used to be where you'd go to a site and you'd read stuff and you'd leave and and that was that. That was the entire interaction. It's techguylabs.com. We've been doing it for some time. Not as long as I've been doing this show. When I first started doing this show, I had a wiki. A little wiki I would run because it was easy for me to edit. Wiki's actually, I'm still in love with the notion of wiki. You're probably familiar with one wiki in particular, the best known wiki of all, Wikipedia. But wiki is a type of software. Wikipedia makes their own. It's called MediaWiki, but there are many, many other companies making wiki software, a lot of open source wiki software. And the idea of a wiki is anyone can edit it, which, interestingly, was the original premise for the World Wide Web. Back in 1989, when the web was created by a physicist, Tim Berners-Lee, he was at the big particle accelerator in Switzerland, CERN. And he was looking for a way for physicists, for his colleagues, to share papers, share research, share notes in a way that others could leave footnotes or interact with it or edit it. That was the idea of the World Wide Web, was a way for document sharing, essentially. And, of course, the key that ended up being the principal invention of the World Wide Web was hyperlinks, those links within a page that let you go to another page. But his original concept allowed editing as well. Now, as it turns out, letting people edit your web page in many cases is not the best thing. But if you wanted that, you can create a wiki, and that's what I used for the early days of the website. Because I was thinking, I will not be the only one doing this. Maybe everybody who listens could contribute. It didn't really work out that way. There's too many spammers out there. And we ended up getting a lot of spam on the site, so I converted it to a more traditional website with comments. But the principle remains. It's really a resource for all of us. So I don't even put the content up. I talk. James DeRuvo, our scribe, writes it down, puts it on the site. We people from my podcast network, my Twit team, then work on it a little more to add audio and video to it, so that you can actually see or listen to the part of the show that the question and answer segment was. And it goes back a ways. This is our 1,705th episode, so there's quite a few episodes up there. And it's got a good search. The idea is you could go there at any time and get answers, but I do want the input, so we also have a comment section. So you can also say, Leo, I got a better idea, or I used to have one of those Western Digital my books, and this is what I did to fix it, that kind of thing. That would really be appreciated by all. Because it's not, the Tech Guy Labs isn't just my site. It's our site. It's all of us where we can put something during the week or refer to something we heard on the show. So it's really there for all of you. And that's why it's free. No sign up. TechGuyLabs.com. On we go with the show. Let's see. Line 3, Peter's in Escondido, California. Hi,
yeah,
Peter.
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm blind, but I stuck with Windows 7. But then on Tuesday and then yesterday morning, I received 2 updates, and the one I received Friday was it's called Edge.
Yes, the new browser.
Yeah, and I thought they weren't updating 7 any longer.
Apparently, they are updating it, but they're not. But here's the thing: apparently they're updating it with things you don't need.
Oh.
But they're not necessarily updating it with the security patches you want. And that's the real problem with 7. So, this was, I guess, I didn't know they had done this, but I guess this was in Microsoft's commercial interest. They'd prefer you use the Edge browser. It's actually, I presume you got the new Edge, which is based on the Chromium. It's kind of Google's browser, Chrome, but it's the open source part of that. It's the Chromium engine. And it's a really nice browser. I wish they were also updating your security flaws.
Yeah, but no, it would have not went on Tuesday then. Tuesday.
I don't know what you got on Tuesday. Did it say anything?
Well, nothing, because I'm blind, so I'm using JAWS and wouldn't read anything on Tuesday. But then on the one on Friday, it told me it was Edge. Boy,
I'm going to have to look and see. I doubt you got security patches, although it is, in fact, the case that there have been a number of severe security flaws impacting all versions of Windows, including Windows 7. So sometimes if there's something really bad, let's see, Microsoft will update it. Had you received any updates earlier?
The last one was in January.
Yeah, they did a couple of updates because for instance, they introduced a blank wallpaper bug. They introduced some bugs into Windows 7. I don't know what you got. That's really interesting. Are you sure it wasn't just an update for something running on Windows 7?
Well, I don't know because it didn't.
Yeah, it might. I mean, the Edge update, for instance, may be an update to Edge as opposed to, in other words, it's not really a Windows update. It's just updating the browser, and may have been something like that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thanks.
Eventually, you're going to want to go to Windows 10.
Yeah.
It's free for you to do so. Is there any reason you're not doing that? Does JAWS not work as well, or?
Yeah. See, I don't know, and how
you don't want
really
to mess with it. Yeah.
Until I've known somebody who's a little bit more techie than myself.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You got something that's working. Did somebody help you set up 7 originally?
Yeah, when I got the new computer, because I got hit with ransomware. Old computer, and since it was an old cheap computer, so I thought I might as well get a new computer.
Just get a new one. Yeah.
All right, great, thanks.
My pleasure. I'm sorry that I don't have more information on that. I'm going to guess it's not a security patch. We would have heard of it. That would have been, people would have trumpeted that. See, Microsoft is updating Windows 7. It was not that. They were updating, as they did with Edge, they were just updating a specific package. And I just looked real quickly. I don't see any updates after January. You can, yeah, you're going to have to find somebody to help you, I guess, move to Windows 10. You can move to Windows 10 for free. There's a loophole that lets everybody move to Windows 10 for free, apparently. But you especially, they've already said anybody with accessibility needs can move to Windows 10 for free forever. So that's always going to be available to you. But I understand it's a hard thing to do. If you can't see it, it's hard to, they've done their best to make it accessible, and I think they have built-in screen readers. In fact, I know when you start installing Windows 10, it starts talking to you almost right away. But yeah, I hope you could find somebody to give you a hand with that, because it probably would be worth doing. That'd be my guess. Eventually, what's going to happen is JAWS and other programs will say, yeah, you got to update now. We're not going to continue to support it. That's the unfortunate thing that starts happening. Hey, it's time to mention our sponsor for the podcast, the great folks at Roman. Hello, Roman. It's good to see you. Roman is designed to get medical services to guys who don't go to the doctor. You know how it is with guys. We grew up we were told, rub some dirt on it, walk it off. It'll be fine. There's lots of evidence that guys who don't have spouses end up sicker and dying younger because there's nobody yelling at them, go to the doctor, for crying out loud. Well, you got to understand why we don't go to the doctor. It can be embarrassing. For instance, erectile dysfunction. You don't want it can be that's an awkward conversation. You don't want to go to the doctor, say, Doc, I need some help. But you ought to. Roman was started, actually, it's a really interesting story, by a young guy and his dad who was a doctor. The young guy, he was in his 20s, was having erectile issues. He had ED. Fortunately, he told his father, which must have been hard, right? Difficult. And his father said, well, wait a minute, we better check into this. He had heart disease. The kid had multiple surgeries. He's fine now. He founded Roman. He and his dad founded Roman because they realized, we need some help. ED can often be the cause of an underlying condition, caused by an underlying condition, but it's also no reason to suffer. There's a simple, easy way to get the treatment you need without leaving the couch. And this is a great digital platform. Roman's been spending a long time building this. It connects you with a doctor licensed in your state, an MD. It's important because you want to talk to somebody about this stuff, but you could do it kind of in the comfort of your own home without the embarrassment. It's really a digital health clinic for men. And it's not just ED medicine, hair and skin, dandruff and eczema, prostate health, bone health. I just started taking their testosterone supplements. They're not medical. They're not prescription. They're vitamins and other kinds of supplements just to help you. And I feel great. Roman makes it convenient to get the treatment you need right from home. So grab your phone or your computer, complete a free online visit. That first consultation is free. You'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. And if the doctor agrees the treatment's right for you, your medication can be shipped free right to your door, 2-day shipping. And free unlimited follow-ups anytime you have questions or want to adjust your treatment plan. Roman is awesome, and I'm so proud of them. Go to getroman.com/techguy for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. And they're doing God's work. GetRoman.com/techguy for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. GetRoman.com/techguy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Jim in Oceanside, California is next. Hi, Jim.
Yes, sir. How are you? Let me speak you off here.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
I want to talk. Yes, sir. I want to talk about my wife's iPhone. It is a 6S, and it has version 13.4.1.
Yes.
And 32 gigabyte capacity, and she is constantly running out of space on the phone because it apparently keeps pulling old pictures back from somewhere and dumping them back on the phone.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I need more space.
I need more. 32 is so small. Apple no longer sells 32 gigs, probably for this reason. But you can fix this. You can easily fix this.
She doesn't need 3,800 photos on
I agree.
Either. And I keep taking them off, and we use iDrive, so they go up to the cloud there.
Right.
So And it seems like all they want to do is just sell you more iCloud space.
Yeah, that's kind of that's the goal. How can we get them to buy more cloud from us?
Exactly.
So you want to look at your iCloud photo settings. That's where all of this happens. So it's in the photos. If you go to settings on your iPhone and you go to photos, not iCloud, but photos, you'll see there's a setting called iCloud Photos. And it's probably turned on. Automatically upload and safely store all your photos and videos in iCloud so you can browse, search, and share from any of your devices. Now, there's two ways that you could do that. One is you can have just like you'd expect, you could have the originals on your phone. The other is to optimize phone storage. Now, you should see which one you've got turned on. Optimize phone storage saves space on the phone because instead of putting the full quality original on the phone, it keeps that in the cloud. Sure. And uses a suitable resolution thumbnail for your phone.
Compressed, yeah.
Yeah, but even that may be too much for you. And the fact that you're getting, like you delete stuff and it comes back means iCloud Photos is turned on. So I would turn that. If you've not tried Optimize, try it because it's aware of the space on your phone. And so it may end up saving you some space simply by going, she doesn't have enough space. Let's delete everything. But if that's already turned on, if you're already optimizing and you still don't have enough space, then I would just completely turn off iCloud Photos. But what that means is you'll have to manually move photos off of the phone. You're iDriving it, which means you've got the photos, the originals on iDrive. Another way to do this that's maybe even easier than manually deleting them, which you can do, if you use Google Photos. And some people don't want to because they don't want to give their photos to Google or whatever, and I understand that. But if you use Google Photos, free service, it will do like iCloud. It will upload, but it won't upload originals. It'll upload JPEGs of all your images to the cloud. And then there's a setting in Google Photos that says delete everything they've already backed up. I don't want it anymore. Right. And so Google's doing it a little differently. Instead of keeping a thumbnail on your phone, they think that, you're going to go to Google Photos. There'll be tiny versions of the photos there. If you want to edit one or save one or share one, you tap it. It'll then download it from Google Photos, and then you can do stuff to it. So it's a little bit of a different philosophy. The nice thing about having the Google Photos is now you have two backups. You have iDrive and you have Google Photos.
Sure.
Two's better than one when it comes to backups, always is.
That's right. So we're on the iPhone, we're in settings, iCloud.
Not cloud. No. Go to Photos, not iCloud.
Oh, settings directly to Photos.
Yeah, that's, Apple has so many darn settings now that it's gotten hard to navigate. So if you go to Photos, now does it say your iCloud Photos is turned on? I'm sure it is.
I don't know.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Your settings.
Because if it's turned on, that's why when you delete something, it's going,
Photos.
Oh, yeah, let's turn it on.
iCloud Photos is off.
Okay, good.
So
then I'm not sure why it's downloading it still. It shouldn't do that if iCloud Photos is turned off.
Shared, okay.
It shouldn't be interested in restoring, so I'm not sure where else to look.
That's kind of what I thought, because I think I made it to that far to turn the thing off. But,
yeah. And then at that point, if you delete a photo, it should stay deleted.
Yeah. And that's we've done it a few times. That's why
weird.
I'm calling is because it gets exasperating. I've done it multiple times.
Totally exasperating. Yeah, because you're trying to save.
That.
Yeah, I don't need this photo. Why are you putting it on my phone? Even a thumbnail takes some space, So it's
exactly.
It's not worth if you know you got it. So my fear now is if you put Google Photos on there, back everything up, and then use the setting in Google Photos is delete everything you've already put in the cloud. It will do that, but maybe Apple's going to go put it back again, which would be very annoying.
Yeah, I have
not sure why it's doing that.
Apple Photos just as much as I love iTunes, which is why I use an Android.
But we have to keep our wives happy.
Exactly. Let me go see what I can.
So that's what's happening. Is Apple, in its infinite wisdom. And Apple is quick to tell you it has infinite wisdom, is restoring them. You're deleting them, and it's going, no, you want those. I'm surprised that iCloud Photos turned off, because that is the normal way it does that. Make sure also if you have My Photo Stream turn on, then that's right below it. Would that Would my photo stream? Yeah, it might. You know what? Because it might treat your phone as one of the endpoints. So turn that off as well. That's a system that allows you to have your photos automatically go to your Apple TV or friends or stuff like that. We're going to put the support page, manage your photo and video storage on your iPhone from Apple, up on the website, techguylabs.com. It's Apple support document 205703. And it seems to have the same thing I just told you. So I don't know where those photos are coming from. It's so confusing. So now Knox Harrington is saying you should have iCloud photos turned on and then set it to optimize. I agree. In that case, you will automatically back up to iCloud. That's nice. And it will reduce the size of anything left on your phone so that you don't run out of space in your phone. That's Apple's, Apple thinks it can do a better job than you can of managing your space. That's letting go and letting Apple do it. Knox Harrington in our chat room says that might be the best way. So yeah, since you had it turned off, try turning that on. It's very good. I'll be honest. Apple has not done a good job of communicating this, but that's so Apple. Because Apple and I am not knocking Apple. I use a lot of Apple gear. I am looking at my iPhone 11 Pro Max right now. I gave them a lot of money for that. So I appreciate it, but you have to understand, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you have to understand Apple's mindset on this. We know how this stuff works. We know the right way to behave. We understand there's pain in our users. For instance, users who say, I've talked to people in the past that I filled up my iPhone, I need to buy a new one. So Apple's solution to that is, well, let us manage it. Let go and let Apple. Let us manage it. We know better than you how to do this. For experts, that can be frustrating and confusing. For normal people, probably that's the right way to go because they don't have to think about it. It just works. That's their motto, right? It just works. It just works the way Apple wants it to work. That's the problem. And if you want it to work any other way, you might find it difficult. Let's talk travel. Johnny Jett is here, our travel guru. We're going to talk to him next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. My gosh, he's been everywhere, man. Well, he's not going anywhere right now. He's been to the bedroom, to the bathroom, to the kitchen, to the living room, back to the couch, away from the couch, back to the bedroom. It's Johnny Jett, traveling everywhere within his home. Johnny Jett is our travel guy. JohnnyJett.com is his website. He's also got a great podcast, JohnnyJett.com/podcast. And he joins us, and his great YouTube which is similar, right? 39 questions for travel gurus.
Yep.
All of that. Hey, Johnny.
Hello, Leo.
We were talking, because I got an email. We were talking during the break. I got an email from somebody who said, you shouldn't have Johnny Jett on if you're going to tell everybody not go anywhere. And know what? I understand. And what I was saying is, it's fine. If you want to go, if you feel like, I'm going to take responsibility, I'm going to go out, maybe I'll get sick, maybe I won't. I understand that. But you also have a responsibility to other people. If you do get sick, not to get us sick, stay home. And by the way, you don't get to go to the hospital because you made a decision. You don't get to jam up the medical system because of your, I'm on my own. So that's fine.
Right.
If you stay home, you get sick, you don't jam up the medical system, that's fine. I don't mind. Just don't get me sick.
As I told you before, I agree. I can understand that person's point of view.
Oh, totally.
I just don't want to be irresponsible because we don't know enough about it. And I have little kids.
Yeah, you've got kids. We've got older parents. I'm concerned about my mom and dad. I don't want them to get sick and die, and they would definitely not do well.
The longest I'd gone without being on a plane was 3 weeks until the last 3 months.
It must be. Of all the people in the world. But, I would not be here if it weren't for COVID. I would be on a plane right now to Budapest. So we had planned a vacation on a river cruise up the Danube to the Oberammergau Festival. Every 10 years they have it. That's where I'd be right now. But no.
Yeah. No. Well, speaking of cruises, I don't know if you saw the news. They're about to announce, because the trade union for the CLIA, which is a big trade union for all the big cruise lines, they just announced they're now suspending cruises out of U.S. ports until September 15th. So I've been telling people, you're not cruising this summer on a big ship. And I don't think you're going to cruise the rest of the year, and probably in the winter as well. We'll see what happens. So if you haven't heard from your cruise line yet, you will hear from them, because you won't be sailing, unfortunately, at least out of the U.S. ports. And so, I mean, that just destroys a lot of tourism.
No kidding. And not to mention a lot of businesses, right?
For sure. And you know, some good news, though, if you are going to travel, Southwest Airlines this week announced, I'm wearing my Southwest hat, by the way, that they're going to keep the middle seat open until September 30th. But I just had a friend on Facebook post today that they were on American Airlines yesterday flying from LA to New York or New York to LA, and it was completely packed. He's like, I thought I was going to have an empty middle seat. It's not every airline. It's Southwest, it's Delta, it's JetBlue. Make sure you do your homework and don't get suckered by the other airlines. To find out.
Do they make you wear a mask if you get on?
Well, it's not an FAA rule, but now United, American, Alaska, Hawaiian just came out last week saying that if you do not wear a mask, started June 18th, actually a few days ago, if you do not wear a mask, you're not going to be able to fly, and we'll ban you from flying through this pandemic. And they just did it. The first person that made the news, I don't know, a couple days ago, if you saw it.
I did.
Was a conservative guy going to Tulsa, I think.
He was doing it as a political act. He said, I'm not going to wear a mask. I believe in freedom.
Yeah.
Saying, well, you're free not to fly.
Yeah, they banned them. They banned them until the pandemic's over.
You see, I don't have a problem with personal freedom as long as it doesn't impinge on my personal freedom not to get sick.
Agreed. It's irresponsible. It's rude. Wear a mask. Suck it up.
Yeah, suck it up.
Fly.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. But if you are flying and you don't want to, be around people, and there was a company called Lugless, LUGLESS.com, and what they will do, they'll either come to your house, pick up your luggage, and deliver it to wherever you're going. It's all domestic. You don't want to do it internationally. I don't even think they do it internationally because it would be way too expensive. Or they'll give you you can print out your shipping tag and drop it off at a UPS or FedEx, and it's pretty much the same price as it would be if you paid the airline. So airlines usually charge $30 for the first bag and $40 for the second bag.
To pick it up at your house and then drop it off. Do you pick it up at the airport, or do they drop it off at the hotel?
They'll drop it to your hotel. So
nice.
Or wherever you're going.
Is it guaranteed to get there when you do, or is it? Are they shipping it, or are they putting it on your plane?
Oh no, they're shipping it.
Oh, they're shipping it.
It's going FedEx or UPS.
Okay, so they might get there before you do.
Well, keep in mind, if you want them to come pick it up at your house, they charge more.
Okay.
I just priced it out LA to New York. But if you drop it off at a FedEx or UPS, I just did LA to New York, and it was $87 for 2 bags.
Well, that's not that bad.
No, that's for two 50-pound bags.
And this way, it's a little less contact at the airport.
Totally. I mean, they were around before this, and it was a good service, because if you don't have bags with you, you can take public transportation. But if you are using it, make sure if you're staying at a hotel to call the hotel in advance and find out if they're charging a receiving fee, which is a ridiculous fee that airlines charge. But some do. So find out in advance, because you might get charged an extra amount of money just to have them receive it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But speaking of bags, by the way, the Unclaimed Baggage Center this week announced that they're now putting their merchandise online. So they've never done it before. So the Unclaimed Baggage Center is in Scottsboro, Alabama. It's in the boondocks. And if an airline loses your bag and they can't find the person for 30 days or more, they then send it to the Unclaimed Baggage Center. They buy it, and they put all the contents in their store. It's a huge warehouse. And, there used to be really good deals. I think now the deals aren't as great, but you can actually see them. And you might even be able to find your own stuff. I mean, and some of it's brand new. They have the tags on it. They've even lost a coffin before. I don't know how they've done that, but they've had a coffin in there. They've lost wedding rings. You can buy all kinds of stuff, and it's definitely.
It was an empty coffin. We should be very clear.
Yeah, it definitely was.
It was
but
not.
How do you lose a coffin? I have no idea. So I don't check bags when I'm traveling alone. That's why this lug glass is a good option.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, so it's not safe travel; it's safer travel. But it's possible. It's possible.
Totally possible. Listen, again, if everyone's wearing their masks. I did a call with Boeing this week, by the way, and they're saying how safe the planes are right now. And it's, as long as people are wearing their masks, they wipe down the planes, avoid all the touch points. If you use the bathroom, don't touch your face,
right,
and things like that, and you'll be fine. But again, it's the people who are not wearing masks are making everything vulnerable. But I did ask them a question, which is very interesting. I said, do you recommend people putting the overhead air vent on you? That's what I do when I travel as a force field. And the guy from Boeing said, you know what, we're studying it right now. We're not 100% sure.
It's not immediately clear. That air is clean, but it is in a force field. It's turbulence, and it can actually be drawing air into your space from around you. That's why they have to study it.
They said it's a mixed bag, but why are they waiting so long to study it? They should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, one would have thought. Everything. We're learning many, many things, aren't we? We are. You know what? We'll be ready for the next one.
Well... this one seems like it's going on for way too long. I don't think there's going to be pro sports, which kills me. And,
I know.
At least like team sports.
But, I think you could probably – how about an RV? Could you rent an RV and get around that way? That's safe,
totally,
right?
But I read an article, though. They say, if you're going across country, it might be safer to fly. It's safer to fly because you got to stop. You got to pump the gas. You got to use the restrooms.
True.
All those things. So
JohnnyJet.com. Yeah.
Book last minute. Just look at the seat map, book last minute, and try and get a plane that's not full, although that's difficult these days.
Yeah, they're flying more full than they used to. JohnnyJet.com. His podcast is at JohnnyJet.com/podcast. He's on the YouTube, and he's here every week. I love you, Johnny. Stay safe.
Yeah, I love you too. Thank you.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I'm sure the airlines are sterilizing the cabin in between people and all of that. They're spraying it. They're probably wiping it down is almost not necessary, but I would still do it just to be safe.
On my podcast, I had one of my friends who is actually an aviation journalist, but also works for the airline as a ramp worker. So he in the wintertime he de-ices the planes, and now he's cleaning the planes. So I had him come on and say, hey, would you fly right now? And he said, I would. He goes, I sent my kids last week on their own. They were like 12 and 14 from Denver to Texas. Wow. And he said, their planes are clean. He says, as long as the people are wearing their face masks. So it's an interesting listen.
For me, it's not too difficult because I don't need to go anywhere. It's a luxury item. So I can forego the luxury.
Right.
But there are plenty of people who have to, for one reason or another, get on a plane. So that's encouraging.
Yeah. If I had to go, I would do it. There's no travel business right now. There's no conferences.
I'm not going to do it just for fun. I'm really not. But yeah, because we canceled both of our trips, both this week's and January's, because I don't want to take a chance, and it's a luxury. It's not a necessity.
Yeah. Well, I should have mentioned on the radio, I can do it next week, that, if you do travel internationally, which there's not a lot of choices these days,
right?
What happens when you test positive? Because some countries are testing you when you come in.
Well, that's
what
another
happens
issue.
If you test positive or someone on your plane tests positive? They're going to quarantine everybody. And who's paying for that? You are. So do you really want to take that risk? Cambodia is charging $3,000 up front to go visit them right now, because to pay for any medical bills or your funeral.
Wow.
just sit on that for a while.
They're basically saying what I was saying was, okay, you can have personal responsibility, but that goes from end to end.
I'll mention that next week, because it's important that people know that, especially internationally. But one quick question for you, if you have time.
Sure.
We talked about it before. I bought my dad a Roku TV.
Good.
And I thought it'd be easy because he could tell Alexa to turn it on. Well, it turns on the TV, but it doesn't go into the app, like, the cable app or whatever.
Right.
So, and he cannot see the remote. He cannot figure out.
Yeah, because it's on the remote.
Figure out a basic remote.
Yeah, there's a
So
Roku. There's a
what do you
Roku
recommend?
button on the remote.
Yeah, I mean, but what do you recommend?
Well, he's not
For
going to be
him to
able to
watch
use
the
Roku
news
if he
or
can't
horse
use the
racing?
remote. He's not going to be able to use Roku at all.
So, is there any TV that I can get that will be super
that
easy
you
because he can
talk
barely
to
see? I mean,
You might
he
be
can
able to
tell
talk
Alexa
to it. I mean, that's the. You know what? You probably could find.
he can't figure out the button. To
A
press it to
bigger
talk to it.
button remote. They have remotes for seniors that have really
I
big
saw,
buttons.
I saw those. I just don't think they're going to work for him.
Well, that is going to be an issue because if he can't use a remote,
He can't see it a lot.
yeah, I'm not blaming him or saying anything's
No,
wrong
I
with it.
understand.
But if he
I just
can't
wish there
use
was
it,
a
it's
thing.
going to be hard for him to change the channel, change the volume, launch the Roku app. You might be able to, the Amazon.
Cube?
Yeah, the Fire. I was just going to mention the Fire Cube because that is pretty much all voice. He'd have to learn the voice commands, and the problem is if the voice doesn't work at some point, it's problematic, right? But
I mean, he's a big horse racing. He wants to watch the Belmont Stakes today, and
in theory, you could say to the Echo Cube, you could say, "Hey, Echo, let's watch the Belmont Stakes," and it would know where to find it, and it would put it on for you.
I have a Fire Cube in my house.
Yeah, that works. You know how it works.
Will it work with the Roku TV? Is my question. I'm not sure.
It has Roku in it. It will work with his TV, but it won't be his Roku. It'll be the Alexa Roku.
Okay, I'll try it.
Thanks, Johnny. Let's rock that Casbah. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo, the phone number. Let's go to line 2. Jim is on the line from Philadelphia, PA. Hello, Jim.
Hey, Leo. Thanks for taking my call. I'm a big fan.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to discuss Sony's new smartphone, the Xperia 1 Mark II. Wondering if you've had hands-on with it.
I have not. I hear very good things about the Sony Xperias. I haven't had a Sony phone in years. Wasn't crazy about it when I did, but a lot of people love these Xperia phones. I take it you have one.
I had one probably 5 years ago. It was their Z5 Compact.
Yeah, that might have been the one I had. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. It's just the battery started to die on it, and I just needed something new.
Sony, it's funny. Sony has not done well in the U.S. market. It's been very hard for them to get attention to their phones. They have a very square style that maybe feels a little... some people love it, and others go, oh, that's a little, funky. There's not... nowadays, what is there to distinguish one phone from the other? I don't, not much. They're all slabs of black glass. I love it that the... Xperia 1 has a headphone jack. Thank you, Sony.
That's what drew me to it.
God bless you.
I'm like, whoa, a flagship phone in 2020 that has a headphone jack?
It's and given Sony's heritage, they make the sensors for almost everybody else. So
that's the other thing.
Yeah, they have a camera. They have a real camera background. They're not, in fact, I use their Alpha 9 camera, which apparently was the inspiration for the camera in this Xperia 1 Mark II. So it has RAW support. It does eye focus. I probably should get one. It ain't cheap.
That's the only other thing that I'm concerned about.
It's 1,200 smackerinos, and two dual lenses. I'm looking now at the Sony website. Actually, 3 lenses. They have the wide, the telephoto, and the medium. So that's kind of nice. And it works with Sony's cameras. And I'm a Sony photographer, so they're using all their brand names. Sony also makes some of the best video cameras on the market, pro-grade cameras called Cine Alta. And they say that their camera's powered by Cine Alta, which cracks me up. It's like saying it has Dolby sound. It's, okay, fine.
Yeah.
It's 4K. It's an OLED. I think the screens have always been good on these Xperias. I do think battery life has often been a problem. I wish I could give you my review of it. I guess I'll have to buy one and do that. I'll ask. We also have an Android show. I don't know if you know about it, with Jason Howell, called All About Android.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Okay, so I bet you. I'll ask him. I bet you he'd get it and try it.
Okay.
Yeah. Gosh, I love the headphone jack. I love the idea of Sony camera in my phone. But I always worry when I look at, and of course it's Android, and I always worry about what these guys are doing to the Android and how much of it they're customizing, and what that means from point of view of security and support.
Yeah.
Because the more they customize it, the slower they're going to be to add the monthly patches that Google puts out, because they've got to test them and make sure they work. And I don't know, I think Sony's track record's not great in that regard either. You'll probably be stuck on Android 10 longer than you would be if you had a Pixel phone.
Yeah, I remember the customization being pretty bad. I actually ended up putting a custom ROM on my old P5 back in the day. But that was 5 years ago. Maybe they've got...
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I feel like I've let you down. I'm sorry, Jim. No. I don't have any experience with it. But
I'm tuning into All About Android.
There's been constant rumors that Sony's going to abandon the U.S. phone market.
Yeah, I hear that too.
They're just not getting the traction that perhaps they think they deserve. And I'm not sure why, because they do make nice phones.
You know what it is? They don't do deals with the carriers. And
that hurts them.
Deal with Verizon, and especially in the U.S., that kills them.
That kills them. That's basically what killed Microsoft's Windows phones. They couldn't get the carriers to recommend them in the store, even though they were in the stores. They'd never, they put them in the back. Right. And when I talked to Huawei, when it was announced that the plans for AT&T and Verizon to carry the excellent Huawei phones in their stores were changed last year. I talked to Huawei. They said, that's it. We can't, if we are not in carrier stores, you don't have a footprint. There's no point in spending money on ads. There's no point in promoting the phone. I think that's kind of what's going on.
Well, that's the other reason I really kind of like Sony, so they don't play ball with these carriers.
Yeah, in a way, that's not a bad thing, is it?
I don't want them poking at my phone.
No one loves the carriers. No one. Yeah. So you'd buy it unlocked. You'd put a SIM in. Yeah. Boy, you know what? Now you've got me drooling a little bit for this. This is a pretty nice looking phone, I have to say.
No, I fear I put a $1,200 hole in your wallet. Sorry about that.
I'm not spending anything because I'm really worried about Monday that Apple's going to spring some stuff on me. I'm going to have to write some big checks. I'm not buying anything this weekend. That's for sure. I don't know. I'll ask Jason and the All About Android crew, because they really pay attention to this space, what they think of it. We've all kind of ignored Sony, and I think maybe it's been unjustly. They probably deserve more of our attention, because I think they make good stuff. Boy, $1,200.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's an awful lot. How much is a headphone jack worth to you?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Up there. I don't know. The funny thing is, they're doing pre-orders right now, and they'll give you a free pair of their noise-canceling Bluetooth headphones, which don't even need the jack.
They don't even need the jack. That's a sign, isn't it? Jim, I don't know, but I'm going to keep listening. If anybody, keep listening, because if anybody has an idea or a sense of it, I guess, nobody really has it yet, so it's probably, I don't feel too left out. Sure looks good. I think they're getting more attention this time around, because I think people feel like, this may be the last gasp. This may be the end for Sony phones in America. Let's give this one a chance. Can't say I blame them. They probably deserve more attention than we've given. Jerry, Great Falls, Montana. Hello, Jerry. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Welcome.
I have a Roland Edirol portable recorder.
Nice. I remember those.
And I want a microphone for it. It's got a switch on it that switches from either condenser or...
All that means is that it has what we call phantom power. Condenser mics need a little bit of juice coming out the microphone cable. But you'd need, for this to use a microphone, you need an interface. I'm just looking at their specs right now. What kind of things can you plug into it? It must have a built-in microphone. Yeah, it does. It has two built-in microphones at the top. But it also has a microphone jack?
Yes, a single pin.
Okay, so it's one of those small headphone jacks. So that you're going to need an interface for if you're going to use like the mics we use, the professional mics. You're going to need an interface for. But it is interesting that it has phantom power. That means to me that there must be a way of plugging stuff into there. What are you recording?
A lot of webinars.
Okay. I think probably the mic built in would be just fine for that. If you were doing something more particular, recording voiceovers or bird song or things like that, you might want to get a mic that's suited to that. And you're going to have to get a mic that will work with that mini jack on the side. But I think those built-in mics probably are fine for webinars. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So, yeah, because I think that's the whole point of those built-in mics. If you're going to, record a lecture, for instance, do you want something that you could sit back in the auditorium and put it up front? Or webinars means like off the internet?
Yeah, I'm not getting good directional work on the built-in mic.
And it's recording it off your computer speakers, is that?
Yes.
You should be able to take the headphone output. Let me think. I think you should be able to take direct out of your computer into this thing. I don't think you need a microphone for that. In fact, eliminating the microphone is going to give you a much better result.
Yeah, well, there's a line-in port also, but that doesn't work too good for me.
Yeah, well, you need line out for that to work. So that's not the headphone jack. Let me look. I'm just looking at the specs for this thing. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, your microphone would not be a good idea if you're recording off the computer. What you really want is just get the audio coming out of your computer into that.
I want directional microphone.
Oh, you do? Why is that?
Just for voices. Say I'm recording a voice, somebody talking to me. I want it directional. I don't want it.
Yeah. Okay. So what you want is a shotgun mic. And Rode, R-O-D-E, makes a number of shotgun mics that'd be perfect for this. Okay. They're not cheap. The cheapest one is $260, it looks like. It's their entry level, and then they go up from there. But shotgun mics are expensive. They're thin and long, and they're highly directional. So, it depends how far away you are from the speaker. If you're just sitting talking to somebody, and they're sitting a few feet away, then the inexpensive one would work fine. You can actually get mics with parabolic, and dishes around them that's what they use in the football games. You might have seen them on the sidelines. The guys are down there, they're aiming it. That's how they get the sounds from the helmet to helmet and the calls, the quarterback's calling and stuff. They have a very directional mic, and those are great because there you are in a very noisy environment, but it's so directional, it's not getting the crowd noise, it's just getting the quarterback. So those are shotgun mics, whether it's parabolic or not. The nice thing about the Rodes, they're designed to be used with devices like yours or cameras, so they have those mini jacks on the other end. So that makes it very easy to plug it into that device. You'd probably also want to get, I don't know if they sell, looks like they sell a mount. So, you might want to get a handheld mount so you can aim it and that kind of thing. But I think the Rode is...
Many microphones have this mini jack, is that right?
No, yeah, the mini jack is unusual. No professional mic does, so you need an interface for that. I use a device called a Beach Tech. They make these for cameras, for photography and video, that take the mics like the one I'm using with a Canon plug, and they adapt it to the mini jack to go into your device.
Okay.
So those Beach Techs are maybe $100 or less, and they're designed to take the balanced microphone input and convert it to the unbalanced sound that's going to go into that device. You might not need something so fancy since you have line in on it. you might just get there's probably something that'll convert to line in. So that's why I ask what you're recording. It's very dependent on what you're recording. If you're recording an orchestra, you don't want a shotgun mic. You want an omnidirectional mic. If you're recording birdsong, shotgun mic. If you want to record an individual, if you could put a mic on them, that's the best situation. But if you don't want to mic them, you want to aim a mic at them, then a shotgun would work. But the shotguns are finicky. They have to be carefully aimed, right? That's why they often have, a handle on them that you can, and maybe even like a gun sight, because you're really aiming it at that person. The farther away they get, the more critical the aim becomes. So all of this is tricky. All of this is tricky.
Get lapel mics.
Yes, that's right. And if that's what you want to use, a lot of lapel mics from Sennheiser and others have a mini jack that would just go into the camera. They would work fine. I have a setup that'll do that. There are XLR. This is called an XLR, this Canon plug that's on the back of my microphone. There are XLR to mini jack cables. They're cheap. I don't know how well they work, but they would work okay. It's to me, I'm finding it fascinating that has phantom power. It can't be over the mini jack, though. Usually if something has phantom power for a condenser mic, that means it's going to have a professional XLR input. So I'm confused by that. Audio Technica makes shotguns for around $300, says Ovid in our chat room. They're a very good quality. So you have to think about what you're recording and get the mic that's suitable for that. And then once you do that, you can get the interface. But the reason I recommend the Rhodes is because Rode makes its stuff designed for photographers and videographers. So it has that mini jack coming off the Rhodes, RODE. And they're fairly affordable. They make some good stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Take care. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to take your calls on computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography. We talk about smartphones. We talk about smartwatches, virtual reality. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada, outside that area. You can still call. Just use Skype out. Something lets you call phone numbers. Shouldn't cost you anything. It's a toll-free number in the U.S. 8888 Ask Leo. Website, techguylabs.com. I apologize for my last answer because I got confused because Jim was changing what he wanted to record. If you're recording a webinar, you probably don't need a box of any kind. You don't need any special device because you could just record it on the computer. And there are lots of tools that'll let you record the audio that's coming across your computer. So I was a little confused by that. Then he said he wanted to record people. He wanted a directional mic. So we went all over the place with that. One of those answers probably will work. I got confused. I confess. Susan in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Susan.
Oh, it's been a long wait. I've been trying to call you for 20 years.
20 years is a little longer than we usually keep people on hold. I apologize.
I know.
We try to keep it to 1 decade or less. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for calling.
Nice to meet you. I've been with you forever.
Thank you.
And you're worth it.
Oh, bless you. And I'm sorry to keep you on hold for so long.
Well, no. I just could never get through.
Well, I'm glad you got through. It's a magic.
The Roku box. If he puts a piece of tape on the Roku button.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, because Johnny Jet, so that was off the air. You heard that during the commercial break, but Johnny Jet's dad, who is in his 90s, Johnny is such a good son. He bought him a TCL TV with Roku built in, but the problem is Dad cannot see well enough to manipulate the remote. And there is no way, unfortunately, you can get to the Roku without pushing the Roku button. And then once you're in there, there's no way you can navigate through the Roku unless you can use the remote. It's just not designed for that. So, yeah, he could put a little giant piece of red tape on it, I guess, but he's still going to get stuck.
It doesn't have to have any color. He can feel the tape.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so he can feel it. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. All he has to do is feel the tape. He knows that's the button.
Cool.
Another thing. Okay, I've got several things here.
Get a little closer to the phone. You sound a little off. the phone.
Oh, okay. Let me get off this headset. When I called Microsoft, they told me my Windows 10 is not free.
Yeah, I know. They won't tell you that. Oh, we just lost her. Oh, I'm sorry, Susan. After 20 years of waiting, and I didn't touch anything, right? You saw me. My hands are in the air. I didn't touch anything. Oh, I'm sorry, Susan. Well, I will answer that first question and call back. Gosh, I feel terrible. Microsoft will not say it's free. They'll say it's $130. What we found, though, in fact, somebody in the chat room just said, yeah, I just upgraded 10 Dell computers from Windows 7 to Windows 10. Didn't charge me anything. I think Microsoft doesn't want anybody to know this because the free upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10 ended after the first year of Windows 10, which is 4 years ago. But I think they must know that they never turned it off. So it still works. So don't call them. Don't ask them. Just do it. And you do need to do it because Windows 7 is out of support and it's not going to get bug fixes. Windows 10 is fine. It's as good as Windows 7. Windows 8, I know, terrible. Windows 8.1, terrible. Windows 10, they've been working on it. It's good. It's fine. Isn't that the story that you always want to get every other version of Windows? 7, good. 8, bad. 10, good. Where was 9? No one knows. So, Susan, I'll talk to you again in 20 years. I'm sorry we got disconnected. Thomas in Pico Rivera, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Hi, Thomas.
My question is, I have an old Apple iPod, and I had a battery go out on one of them, and I'm afraid my second one's going to go.
It will eventually, yeah.
And Apple doesn't support them, and I'm looking for a replacement device, and I need to, transfer my music files over onto something that I can easily use. And the way Apple does it, you got to do it one song.
I know. It's terrible. I can help you with all of the above, and you're right to be a little worried. I still have my first iPod, the original iPod from almost 20 years ago.
Yes. One of mine still works.
It still works. It's the FireWire one. You charge it with a FireWire cable. Good luck finding that. But if I can find one, I think we did find one. I charged it, and yeah, it worked. I doubt it would work for very long. You know, battery. What happens with lithium-ion batteries is they have a certain number of times you can charge them. After a certain period of time, they start getting weaker and weaker, and you'll get less and less time, and eventually they won't charge at all. And that will happen to your iPod. If Apple is no longer replacing the batteries, you know, you could go to iFixit.com and you could see if there's a way. This is a great site with lots of information about, you know, how to do your own repairs. They may have a way to open up that iPod and put in a new battery. They may even sell batteries. But you're probably right to be looking for a successor. What is it you want? The reason the iPod market is dying is because everybody's using their phones now. Their smartphones are iPods, in effect.
Uh-huh.
But you don't want to do that.
Yeah, because with phones, you get music programs, and for free, it's commercials and Spotify.
And you have a lot of music, and you want to put it on your device and just listen to your music.
I've got over 3,000 songs downloaded.
Well, the good news is any modern phone has enough storage to put all 3,000 songs on there. So you don't have to do the streaming. You can actually use it just like you used your iPod. Do you have a smartphone?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so
I just got a new one, but it's not an Apple product.
Doesn't have to be.
Android.
It's fine. It can be Android. It's just a question of how much storage you have. But remember that the first iPod, I don't know, how big is your existing iPod?
It's the 160.
Oh, you have a classic. Those are the biggest, 160 gigabytes.
Right.
Those were precious. I bought a bunch of those when they stopped making them because they never got any bigger than that. But I bet you haven't filled it up.
No. I think you can go over 5,000.
Oh, many more than 5,000. You could probably get 50,000 songs on there. So that's the thing to check is how much storage you need. Most phones, you're going to have at least 64 gigs of storage, and of that, almost 40 gigs free. So I would look on your phone how much free space you have and look on your iPod how much space you've used. I bet you can get everything that's on your iPod into that phone. And then it's just like an iPod. However, there are still standalone devices. Getting the music off your iPod isn't that tricky. You don't have to do it one by one. There are a couple of ways to do it. Do you have a PC or a Mac?
I have a PC.
Okay. You could put Apple's iTunes on there, and the problem. This is the problem. It will say when you first plug it in, "Oh, I see you have a lot of music on there. You want me to transfer it over," but it doesn't get everything. So my suggestion is you go out and you buy a third-party program that's designed to copy all your files over from your iPod, and there are a number of programs that will do that. That you, instead of running iTunes, the problem is the way Apple stores the music on the iPod, and this is intentional. They don't want you to use it as a piracy device. The music industry is very, very sensitive to that. So Apple said, all right. So they don't put the name of the song on the file. They have a unique long digit identifier as the name of the file. And then they have a database that matches that number to all of the song information. So it's a funky system. It's not a great system. But there is plenty of third-party software out there that will read it and then transfer it over, copying the information into the file name which is the way you probably want it. So on the PC, I'm just checking Windows, iTunes, iPod copying utility, because there are quite a few of them. I use on the Mac, I use something called Sonuti, which is iPod backwards. But there are quite a few Windows devices. There's YamiPod, YAMIPOD.com. That's free. You can run it on Windows. It comes in 28 languages, and it will recognize your iPod and let you copy all the music off of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that's one. There's a lot of choices. There's paid and there's unpaid. I mentioned YamiPod just because that's free. It really should be free. It's not a complicated thing to do. Once you get the stuff on your PC, then you can use a variety of different ways to get it onto your phone, or you can go out and buy a device. SanDisk and others make iPod-like devices. You have to figure out what it is you like about your iPod. The user interface of it is not as good on any of these. Apple still makes the iPod, but it really looks like an iPhone. It's got a big screen. It's called the iPod Touch.
Yeah.
And it's expensive. So I would look at others. There's a company I use called FiiO, F-I-I-O, and they make high-end iPod-like music players that are very, very good. So I use a FiiO player. It looks very similar. You can find them on Amazon. It looks very similar to the iPod you're used to. And it'll do all the same things. So once you get the music off your iPod using one of these transfer tools, then you can put it on a PC, and then you can use another device. As I said, the FiiO devices are very good, and they're very inexpensive. SanDisk makes even less expensive ones. I don't like their user interface quite as much. Okay. But you're right. You want to get at the very least, get the music off of there. Because if that's the only copy of all that music, when your iPod dies, you're not going to have it.
It's years of CDs that I've collected.
Did you not keep them on your computer? You just put them on the iPod?
I put it on the iTunes on my computer, and I've gone through.
Well, if you still have it in iTunes, you have it on your computer, then you're okay.
But every time you change to a new computer, for some reason, it doesn't recognize all the CDs that I've
Oh, wow.
It only recognizes my iTunes that I've bought.
Yeah, because it's re-downloading them. That's because you have to copy the files manually, and you apparently didn't. Thomas, now is the time. You put a lot of effort into that music library. Now is the time to get those files and make them back them up, get them on the PC, but also get them on a backup, because you don't want to lose those, and you don't want to have to go through that again. And I bet you, in most cases, you don't even have the CDs anymore. So that's a precious resource you put a lot of effort into, and it's hanging by a thread right now. Job one is to get those music files back. Yeah, when you got a new computer and you didn't copy the old files over, all it can see is the stuff you bought in iTunes, and you can re-download that. That's not the solution, though. That's a lot of stuff you burned and ripped that you no longer have because you didn't copy it over. If the only place that is on the iPod, it sounds like it is, you've got to make a backup now. Very important. So there's lots of software in Windows that will see the iPod, copy the music over. And then, once you got it on your computer, copy it onto another external drive, or buy iDrive and back it up, or sponsor, back it up. Because you don't want to do that all over again. Bet you can't. Got to back it up. Another thing you can do, Sophia's right, is you could plug in that iPod. It's been so long. And I think you can just back it up. So you might want to at least do that. Plug in the iPod, run iTunes, and back up the iPod now. At least do that. The music won't be in a form you can access, but at least you'll have a copy. You can restore it somewhere else. Yikes. Now I'm worried. We don't want to lose this. 8888 Ask Leo. More of your calls coming up in just a little bit. I always get scared and it happens all the time, when people have a lot of data and they don't have a copy of it. It's like, ay. The GizWiz coming up. More of your calls too. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. The Tech Guy podcast brought to you this week by ExpressVPN. This is a very important technology you all need to know about. Of course, you know about virtual private networks, VPNs, right? It was the way you would log into the office when you were on the road. A secure way to get to the office network, to do the internet, intranet, I should say, in the office, that kind of thing. But once we started using it, we realized, this could be useful for other things, like encrypting my conversations when I'm at an open Wi-Fi access point. And it's a side effect, but it's a great side effect. With a good VPN, you also can appear anywhere in the world. ExpressVPN is in almost 90 different countries. That means if you're watching Netflix in the U.S. and you've watched everything, and who hasn't by now, just point your ExpressVPN to England, refresh your Netflix, and there it is, all the English Netflix shows, including all the Doctor Who episodes. Or go to Japan and watch anime to your heart's content. That's a nice side effect. It eliminates geographic restrictions. There's one more reason why everybody should be using ExpressVPN: to protect your privacy. We now know that internet service providers not only know everything you do on the internet, but they're willing to sell that to marketers. There's some even that'll inject ads into your surfing, things like that. With ExpressVPN, you're protected. It's the best VPN on the market. Now, here's why it's important you use ExpressVPN. In a way, it's just kicking the privacy security can down the road. Instead of getting on the internet at your coffee shop or at your house or on your phone, you're kind of going in an encrypted tunnel to the ExpressVPN server and then emerging on the internet. That's how it's anonymizing you, because you're coming out at an IP address that lots of people use. They can't tell it's you, so that's nice. But remember, when you're doing that, you got to trust the VPN provider too. Now they can see, the internet service provider can't, but now they can see where you go, what you do. That's why I love ExpressVPN. They are the most private. Not only do they not log anything you do, keep track of anything you're doing, they can't. Their trusted server technology, when you first fire up ExpressVPN, it works on your iPhone, your Android, your Mac, your Windows, your Linux, your TV, everything you got. When you press that button, it says, get on the VPN. ExpressVPN spins up a copy of the trusted server, which runs out of memory. It cannot write to the hard drive. All of your traffic going through that memory point, and then when you close it, it goes away, and there's no trace of you left. True privacy. And I know it's true because ExpressVPN brought in a third-party independent auditor. They looked at the privacy policy. They're verified no logging. They verified the trusted server does what it says it does. ExpressVPN's amazing. And there's one other reason you're going to like it. No lag and incredibly fast performance. In fact, I forgot I did this. I think last week I was doing the ad. I turned it on my laptop, and I forgot. I've been using it ever since, all week. Didn't even notice. That's how fast ExpressVPN is. Leave it on. Protect yourself. Eliminate geographic restrictions. Make sure your data is private. ExpressVPN.com. It's not just me saying this, by the way. CNET, Wired, The Verge, everybody's picked ExpressVPN, the #1 VPN in the world. So protect yourself with a VPN I use. I recommend ExpressVPN. And do me a favor, when you buy it, go to expressvpn.com/techguy, okay? So they know you saw it here. That's how you support our podcast. expressvpn.com/techguy. You'll actually get an extra 3 months with a 1-year package. That's pretty good. That's a 25% reduction. That's a good deal. expressvpn.com/techguy. They're the best. They're a great price. They do the job. They're amazing. They're really impeccable. expressvpn.com/techguy. Protect your online privacy, secure your internet surfing, and watch a little anime. expressvpn.com/techguy. I'm never going to get over you, Lady Laura. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. Susan's back. Hey, Susan, I'm so sorry. After 20 years, and I lost you.
Okay, let's talk quick before I hang up.
Okay.
All right. I want to get rid of the headset and then...
So I told you Microsoft won't tell you it's free, but it is. Just do it.
So how do you get it for free?
Oh, you just download it.
Charge you.
From Microsoft.com. No, they don't charge you. Go to Microsoft, Google Microsoft Media Creation Tool or Microsoft Windows 10. You don't get it from anybody but Microsoft.
Right, I call Microsoft.
Don't call them. Online. You go online, Microsoft.com, and you download it.
Okay.
And they'll give you instructions for the process. Truthfully, you don't even have to download it. In most cases, if your Windows 7 computer is up to date, all you do is you go into the settings and say upgrade, and they don't charge you for it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. My sister is on Windows 7. I would never be, but that's another topic. She uses Windows Live and JAWS. That's why she hasn't upgraded to Windows 10.
Yeah, she's blind.
Because she likes Windows Live.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to lose her mail.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I get this all the time from people say, yeah, but I want to use my old Microsoft money or I want to use... The software's out of date. The operating system's out of date. Sometimes we just have to change. I mean, that's risky.
Will another mail client import from Windows Live?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, Microsoft Mail, which comes with Windows, is very similar, and we'll just import it. This happens all the time. Software moves on. Life goes on. And for safety and security, I understand wanting to use it. I really do. But it's not supported, which means it's going to break. It's going to have problems. It's going to have bugs. It's just not worth the risk, if you ask me. Hang on, Susan. I got to take a break. But I am not giving up on you because it's been 20 years, and I want to give you every bit of my time and attention. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I'm sorry. Okay, so... Tell your sister, okay, but there's other mail programs in the world that are up to date. Eventually, live mail will stop working.
Right.
That's going to happen, and she doesn't want to wait till then. She'd like it best to be upgraded now while it's still an upgrade, and she can import.
How do you use the iDrive on your phone? I bought it.
You back up your phone to your computer, then iDrive will back it up.
Oh, okay.
You should. It's best anyway to have those two backups. So you're gonna connect the phone to the computer, back it up, and then that's part of your iDrive backup, and it will back it up to the cloud. So now you have two copies. That's what you really want: 3, the original and 2 backups, and now that's what you have.
Right. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if there was an app.
No, I don't. I don't know. There is an app for the iPhone. Are you on the iPhone?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there's an iDrive app. That's fine. Yeah, just use the iDrive app. Out of sight. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number, 888-827-5536. The GizWiz comes up in a second. If you've moved from Windows Live Mail, you have a better choice. I think the mail that comes with Microsoft Windows 10 is fine. It's pretty close, actually. I know a lot of people miss Outlook Express. You remember that? When they killed that, I was sad. I thought that was nice, light, easy. Times move on, you know? And the problem with technology is it doesn't move in the same relative time frame as the rest of life. Actually, if you think about it, lots of things don't. Dog years are 7 human years, right? Your car doesn't last 100 years. It doesn't last as long as you do. Your refrigerator doesn't. They last a long time, but not. TVs used to last. Remember, you'd have a TV 10, 15, 20 years, right? Nothing changed. You still have that TV. Nowadays, every couple of years, you know, it's probably time to get a new TV. Phone, same thing. Well, software is even worse. Software ages out pretty quickly. I mean, it's the way life is. And you probably do want the newest software. But I feel bad because there's some people in the world. Now, one of the reasons I do this is I love change. I love new things. It's always exciting when something new. You know, the new iPhone is here. Oh, the new Mac OS is here. Oh, the new Windows is here. I get excited. A lot of us do. But then there's a whole bunch of people who go, no, I was just getting used to the old one. Please, no. I think you're normal, to be honest. I don't know if we're normal. But I'm well suited to this job because I love the new thing, the neat new thing, the shiny new object. That's exciting. But it must be, I'm sympathetic. It must be very difficult for you if you don't like change because the world's changing and it's changing faster than ever, isn't it? Whew. What's happened in the last 100 years, you know, that's more change than we'd had in the 1,000 years before that. Evelyn, Van Nuys, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello.
Hi, Evelyn. Thanks for hanging on.
Yes, I'm having trouble with my printer. It's an HP LaserJet Pro MFP. It prints half a page.
Oh, man. So it like prints the top half or the bottom?
Yes, the top half.
The top half and then just gives up halfway through and says there's nothing. And he said it's a laser printer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't sound good. I'm hoping it's just software. It might just be software, but honestly, with a laser, you know how a laser printer works? It kind of works like a Xerox machine.
Okay.
You have toner, you know that. You put the toner cartridge in, and you have a drum, and the drum is charged electrostatically to hold the toner in the places you want the text and to let the toner fall off in the places you don't. And the drum picks up the toner and then transfers it to the paper. Sounds like, I hate to say it, sounds like that drum of yours could be damaged. Now, I'm hoping it's other things. It could be software, maybe the page areas. Now, how old is that laser printer? Doesn't sound too old.
No, it's not. I can't tell you how old it is.
Yeah. And it's printing, and so it is relevant whether it's printing the top or the left or the right, but you're saying it's printing just the top half.
Yes, and sometimes it'll print the whole page, but something I really need.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, in general, most of the time I would say that is you need a new printer time. But there are some things you can do. I'm actually looking at an HP webpage. This almost sounds like a joke, but it says you might need to realign your carousel. I'm sorry, you might want to re-index your carousel alignment. This does not sound like something a user should do. There are YouTube videos on it. But if the printer alignment has been munged up, it might not print the whole thing. Holy cow. I'm watching this video. Now's not a good time to be going off to the computer store, but it may well be this is something that can be fixed instead of buying a new printer. But it could also be software. It could also be the cartridge. Have you tried putting a new toner cartridge in?
No.
No. That might be one thing just to try if you have an extra toner cartridge, and I would stick with the HP cartridges. The good news is new HP printers are less expensive than ever, and it might well be. It's cheaper to buy a new printer. I hate to do this, buy a new printer than to fix it. But we have a couple of links we're going to put in the show notes from people who say, my printer only prints half the page. And so it's not an unusual thing. The chat room is busy Googling this. And let me just see what they sent me another one. Install the HP print plugin. So that's another thing. That's a software fix. So when you install this printer, you know what I would do is go to HP and download the software for that model printer. It's at hp.com. And it might be that it sounds like that's a software fix. So that's weird, the HP print plugin. So that's for a Chromebook. But are you on a Windows machine or what are you on, Evelyn?
Yes,
Windows. Yeah. So HP.com has a drivers section. They call these drivers. If you go to the printers and look for your printer and then download the software associated with the printer and reinstall it, that'd be the first thing I'd try because that'd be the easiest thing to fix.
And not for me. I'll have to call my grandson.
Yeah, call your grandson. This is going to be a tricky one. It's not. Let me put it this way, Evelyn. It's not whatever's going on. It's not an easy thing to fix. The easiest would be reinstalling the software because maybe just the software is confused about the page size or something like that. If there's a physical problem with the printer, does it fade out or just stop suddenly?
It just stops and there's a line.
There's a line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't really tell if it's a hardware problem or a software problem at this point. Yeah, time to call your grandson and see if he can fix it. I'm sorry, Evelyn. I wish I could. Sometimes my limitation is I'm on the other end of the phone, right?
Yep.
I can't get my hands in there and figure it out.
Come on over.
I'm gonna. Do you bake cookies, Evelyn? Because if you have cookies,
I do.
I'll be there. What kind do you bake?
Chocolate chip.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say that. Toll House cookies. All right, let me hop in the car. Oh, wait a minute, I got to finish the show. Pleasure talking to you, Evelyn. I'm sorry I'm not much help.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
I could smell those chocolate chip cookies from here, though. Oh, man. Oh, man. Lovely on the line from Chino. Hi, Lovely.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure. What can I do for you?
So we recently have a baby. And
oh, congratulations. Yay.
Yay.
What's your baby's name?
Maverick.
Maverick. Oh, you're asking for trouble. You're saying I want you to be a maverick. Oh boy. Wait till he's a teenager.
My husband pick it up.
Hey, Lovely, I have to take a break. Hang on for just a second because I want to take a little break. We have the Giz Wiz coming up, but I'm going to keep taking your call as soon as we pause for these important messages from our sponsor. And then I want to talk to Maverick's mom, Lovely. Aw, I'm so happy for you, Lovely. That's great.
Thank you.
So what can I do to help you?
So with this pandemic, we cannot go to those, for a pictorial.
Yeah.
So I want to take his picture.
Sure. You want a family picture. Of course you do.
Yeah. On my husband's iPhone X, it has this portrait. They call it portrait. The background is blurry.
Yep.
So, but it doesn't do what I really want. So, can you suggest a good camera, like a regular camera?
Yeah. So the iPhone's doing it in software. It's trying to pretend the background is blurry and it sort of works, but it doesn't look great, does it?
Yeah, no.
We call this.
If I enlarge it, it's
yeah,
blurry.
You can see all the defects. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
We call this bokeh. It's a Japanese word, and it's something that really distinguishes a beautiful portrait from just a snapshot. Is that the focus is on the people, and the background kind of softens and falls back. And that's a really nice look. In order to get that look with a real camera, you have to have a camera that has a very wide aperture. So the wider the hole in the camera, the blurrier the background gets. And those are more expensive cameras that have that effect. That's why we associate it with professionals' photo studios. What's your budget?
Maybe a couple hundred, not thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Bokeh's expensive.
I don't want those big cameras.
Yeah. Yeah, you want a little point and shoot, basically.
Yes.
I would get a Canon. They make some really nice portable point and shoots. You know where you should go, though, is go to dpreview.com and look at the reviews of the point and shoots. They will tell you which ones are the best. They have a list of the best inexpensive point and shoot cameras and so forth. Canon makes very good ones. Fujifilm makes very good ones. But I think Canon's probably going to be the right one for you. And they make a couple for a couple $100 that are quite good.
Okay.
Yeah. And let me think. The Panasonic for $300. Chat room saying the Panasonic FZ80. That is a very good camera.
Okay. That's Panasonic?
Panasonic. Yep.
Okay.
That's probably at that price. That's probably going to give you a chance to have good bokeh. You want one that has a low number f-stop. So if it's f1.4 or f1.7, you should get some nice bokeh. Even f2, you should get some nice bokeh. That blurry background.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
How about because I think it's time for me to upgrade my iPhone. You think iPhone 11 will do?
It does a better job. Yeah, it does a better job. That's for sure.
Okay.
The software is getting better. I still think it's not going to be as good as doing it optically instead of doing it in the camera in the software. So, yeah, a good camera. You know what? You have a baby. You should get yourself a nice camera.
I know.
Right?
I know.
You want a Canon. If you get a Canon point and shoot with it that does a f1.8, you should get some nice bokeh.
Okay.
Okay?
FOCA?
BOKEH.
BOKEH.
It's actually bouquet, but yeah, if I say bouquet, people think it's a bunch of flowers. It's a Japanese word.
Leo.
Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Congratulations, lovely. And Maverick. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, he's doing the electric slide onto the dance floor. I give you Dick DeBartolo, Matt's maddest writer. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing?
I am doing great. I saw that your colleague, Mr. Al Jaffe, the man who refused to retire, has finally given up his brushes at the age of 99.
And is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the cartoonist with the longest career.
When did he start?
And that was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, he kept going.
Yes, exactly. I'm not even sure when he started, but
it's got to have been at least 70 years of
yes, more.
And he did the gatefolds. What do they call
the fold-in.
Fold-in. The opposite
yes.
of a gatefold is a fold-in.
A fold-in. Yeah, that was the thing. That Playboy came out with the fold-out, and Jaffe went to Bill and said, we're poor. We can't do a fold-out, but we could do a fold-in. So it was supposed to be a one-time joke, and it ran for 50 years.
It's actually brilliant because I as a kid vividly remember doing this. That was back when Mad was 35 cents cheap, and in the back page it would be like a riddle, and a question, and then you would fold. And I was always trying to do it just perfectly, and I never could. But you'd fold it in, and it would produce a joke, a pun.
Yeah, it would take a photo that would fold into another photo.
Right.
And then the question would fold in and make the answer. It was
brilliant.
Incredible.
It was so brilliant.
Yeah, incredible.
Do you have a favorite fold-in from your many years at Mad Magazine? Somebody did a tribute to Al Jaffe, or maybe it was Al did it himself that folded it in. I saw this in the New York Times where it folded in and it became Al Jaffe's face.
Was it that or was it Colbert? Colbert had a birthday party for Al.
Oh, nice.
And they had a fold-in cake.
I don't think it wasn't a fold-in cake.
And then when they cut out the center of the cake and pushed the two sides together, I forgot what it was.
This was the final fold-in that Jaffe did for the last copy, the last issue of Mad Magazine, which is his also final issue. It's the last Mad to have have some original content, I believe. And is it an all fold-in issue?
No. I'm in it. Al and I years ago did a Mad Look Behind Health Club, so that's in it. Things that he either wrote and drew, or illustrated other people's work.
Got it.
But it's all Jaffe.
But it's all Jaffe all the time. This is so it says, why is the What Me Worry kid so worried? Of course, Alfred E. Newman at the bottom. Economy collapsing, unemployed, starving. It's got all these out of work and closed up businesses, notary public shoes, rare gems. But you fold it in, and the answer to why is the What Me Worry kid so worried is it's Al Jaffe. No more new Al Jaffe fold-ins. Oh, and there he is, the artist in his workshop. Is he still going pretty strong?
I spoke to him 3 days ago, and he sounds great. He just sounds great.
What is he going to do now that he's retired?
God, I guess unfold those foldings.
He's got a lot of unfolding to do.
Yeah, and a lot of pressing.
Well, it's Dick joins us every week to share a gizmo or a gadget, but I can never forget that he was one of my heroes, my lifelong heroes growing up as a member of the usual cast of idiots at Mad Magazine.
Well, thank you.
And of course, when I saw Al Jaffe was retiring, I knew we had to talk about it on the show. So thank you.
Oh, no, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Just amazing.
Also, this is a first for you and I. This is my first 2-season spot.
2 seasons?
It is spring in New York.
And it is summer here.
No, it's spring in New York.
Yes.
But when I come back later to do GizFizz, it'll be summer.
Is this the first day of summer?
Yes, at 5:32 or 5:23 New York time.
No kidding.
It'll be summer.
So
Yeah.
here we
right
are in the
this minute,
spring, and a little later today, you'll be in the summer.
Exactly. That was fast, wasn't it?
Yeah, we get summer 3 hours earlier than you do in California.
Oh, wow, you're lucky.
Yeah. But that's all right. You get winter 3 hours earlier than we do.
Yeah,
so what is your gadget today?
I have a camera, not for your caller, but it's called My First Camera Insta-2. I think kids are going to love this. So it's a digital camera. It takes up to 12 megapixel pictures. There's an SD card in there if you want to print them out. It shoots 1080 video with sound, but you can print out black and white photos.
Oh, that's cool.
In 10 seconds.
Ooh.
Now these are not great photos.
Are they like Polaroids? Is that the idea?
No. It uses thermal paper.
Oh.
So they're not the best. But Leo, if you buy like a case of thermal paper, you can print them out for a penny or two each.
Oh.
And there's enough.
So that's a lot less than Polaroids.
Oh my gosh! All of those instant print cameras. The tiny little pictures are $1 a piece.
They're so expensive.
And the old-time Polaroid picture size is $2 a piece. But these guys are a penny or two.
So this is basically a camera with a printer built in.
With a printer built in.
Wow.
And it's kind of fun. And on my website, I put a little video that I shot with it. It has a flip-over selfie lens in it. It's $99.
You're recording the image to the memory in the camera, so you could have I see the selfie on your website. That's a good picture, so you can have high quality photos too.
No, absolutely. So the thing is, you take the picture, you love it, you can print it out you can take the card out and print it out on your computer. But if you're at a party, take people's picture and print it out and just give it to them.
Oh, it's so cute. How much is it?
It's $99, $99.90. And when I was
wait a minute, you left out an important part. Those printouts are stickers.
Part of it. In the package, you get 2 rolls of regular film, and then you get one roll of self-stick.
So you could print little black and white stickers, too, with people's faces on them.
Absolutely.
Actually, it looks pretty good. I'm looking at the Alfred E. Newmans you took. They look pretty good.
Yeah, and you can set the pixels 3, 6, 9, 12. And if you go to their website, just hang around for a minute, because at some point a little balloon comes up and says, if you'll accept updates, you can have $10 off on the camera.
So wait till a little balloon pops up. Well, you need a little balloon. You need a little balloon on your website to pop up saying, you pay us $10 extra. That would be good.
Oh,
I see. Okay. You waited too long. Now you owe me more money.
Go to
GizWiz.
Maybe I'll put that on mine. Yeah.
Good GizWiz.biz. That's his website, GIZWIZ.biz. If you click the GizWiz Visits the Tech Guy, you'll see his link to my first camera, the Insta2, the $99 camera that prints kind of fun little black and white prints for pennies a shot. I think that's really cool.
Exactly.
Really neat. And, of course, while you're there, there's the What the Heck Is It contest, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. Would this be the Al Jaffe edition you'd be winning?
This is it. That's what they're playing for.
Oh, now I really want to play, because that's history in the making. That's an important one. So you have till the end of June to do this, not too long. Identify a close-up picture of a gizmo or a gadget. If you get it right, you're in the running for up to 6 autographed Mad Magazines. You get it wrong, you're in the running for up to 12. So do the right thing. And there's Al looking into Alfred E. Newman's brain and finding nothing. Nothing at all. The special Al Jaffe issue. Wow. Perfect. What a historic day. Well, enjoy the remaining hours of spring.
Oh, thank you.
And I'll see you next summer.
Okay, buddy.
Thank you, Dickie D.
Take care. Okay.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Lady Laura, our musical director, Kim Schaffer on the phones. Thanks to you for joining me, Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.